The Mafia Trial of the Century. I'm from New York City. I've been reporting on organized crime for 25 years now. This was the most significant trial in my lifetime. It didn't get much public attention, but it should have. Why? Because what happened in that Brooklyn courtroom had reverberations for all of us. Some people say money is not everything. Well, this case proves that money can buy you anything, even justice. What secrets did they never show you? Secrets that only insiders like me know about. Let's go back to the beginning. The trial was between two mafia families, the Bonanno crime family and the Lucchese crime family. They were fighting over money, lots and lots of money, drug money. The Bonanno family claimed that the Lucchese family stole $3 million from them. That may seem like a lot, and it is, but for a mafia family, it's chump change. So who are the Bonanno family? They're one of 5 mafia families in New York City. Originally, they were an Italian family, but now they're mostly made up of people with Irish, Polish, Russian, and even black mobsters. As a matter of fact, one of the defendants in this case was black. I asked him during a break how he got into the mafia. He laughed and said, "I grew up in Brooklyn, the son of a Baptist minister. I just got lost." What about the judges and the lawyers? Well, they're also part of the secret. In court, everyone dresses up real nice. The judge wears a fancy black robe. The lawyers wear expensive suits. Once the gavel comes down and they all file out of the courtroom for lunch. They go to a special restaurant where everyone knows everyone else. The prosecutors had mafia victims advocates, defense attorneys with ties to organized crime figures, and a judge who, before becoming a judge, was the target of a mafia murder plot. And let's not forget the jurors. Their names are kept secret. They're threatened constantly, and some of them have to be paid extra money because they have to move out of their homes so the mafia won't find them. And when the trial is over, they disappear. The government pays for their relocation and their new life. But let's go back to the beginning, back to that courtroom. Before I could walk through those doors, I had to pass by 2 armed marshals. Once inside, I saw something that gave me goosebumps. All of the defendants were wearing those blue, green, or gray suits that prisoners wear. But that wasn't the reason why I was shocked. It was because there were so many mobsters in that courtroom. One of them was Anthony Fat Tony Salerno. He was considered the boss of all bosses, the godfather of the mafia. Another defendant was Anthony Casso. He was known as Tony the Limo because he liked to ride around in limousines. He was also called the Bull because he looked like one. Then there was Joseph Massino, known as Joe Mass. He was a capo, a captain in the Bonanno crime family. And last but certainly not least was Philip Rusty Rustelli. He was considered one of the top earners in the Bonanno crime family. There was more to see and hear. The prosecutor told the jury that these defendants were members of La Cosa Nostra. The mafia, he said that the Bonanno crime family was run like a multi-billion-dollar corporation. He said that they had a board of directors, officers, shareholders, accountants, and even an investment banker. He told the jury that the defendants were involved in extortion, gambling, loan sharking, murder, and drug trafficking. He also told them that the mafia still exists today, but he said that it's more low profile and works in the shadows. And then came the star witness, the government star witness, a man named Francis De Lucia. He looked like he just walked off the set of Goodfellas. And as he testified day after day, he sure sounded like a real wise guy. At first, he tried to take the Fifth Amendment. He invoked his right against self-incrimination. But then he made a deal with the government and started to sing like a canary. Here's what he told the jury. He said that he collected money for illegal garbage disposal for the Bonanno family. He said that he invested money for the family in various legitimate businesses. He also admitted that he was a money launderer. He said that he helped book concert tickets and then resell them for huge profits. And he also said that he ran an illegal gambling operation for the family. So, how did the mafia family launder the money? Well, according to another witness, they used a technique that Al Capone and other mobsters used in the old days. Remember, this is the godfathers of the modern era. So what did they do? They bought a bunch of slot machines. They placed them in bars and restaurants, took the money out at night, and put it in the bank. Then they took the checks from the bars and restaurants and deposited them in their own accounts. They paid taxes on the money, hoping that would somehow make it clean. De Lucia was only half the story. There was another witness that the government hoped would sway the jury. A former mafia accountant named Henry Hill. Some of you might remember him from the movie Goodfellas. He was the inspiration for the character played by Ray Liotta. When Hill testified, the media went wild. This was the closest thing we had to seeing a real live mobster. Hill was brought to court in a van, and he sat behind a blue folder that hid his face. Only the media knew that this was Henry Hill. He took the Fifth Amendment for 3 weeks. Then suddenly he began to testify, but not about himself. He testified against other mobsters. Talked about how mobsters stashed away millions of dollars in the 1980s. He said they hid the cash in safe deposit boxes and then bought businesses that were struggling. That way they could put mob money into a struggling business and eventually make it look legitimate. As the trial dragged on, more and more witnesses came forward. 2 businessmen testified that the Mafia tried to extort them. A former hitman said that he committed murders for the Mafia, and a gambler said that he owed the Mafia hundreds of thousands of dollars. But none of it was as interesting as the secret testimony of another Mafia turncoat. His name is Michael Francisi. He testified secretly. Nobody knew he was there. Nobody saw him enter or leave the courthouse. That's because the government was afraid that the Mafia would kill him. Like I said, they were going to protect him. And protect him, they did. He was given a new identity and disappeared. Francesi was a big fish. Was a capo, a captain in the Lucchese crime family. He was one of the highest-ranking members in that family. So what did he say? Said that he was there the night that the Mafia allegedly beat up a Bonanno captain. He also testified that he collected money from various businesses for the Mafia. He said that he helped fix union elections. And he said that he committed murders for the Mafia. With all this testimony, it seemed like a slam dunk. The jury must convict all of the defendants, right? Wrong. After deliberating for less than a week, the jury acquitted the 2 bosses. They also acquitted Tony the limo, but here's the kicker. They convicted Philip Rustelli, the low man on the totem pole. But they didn't convict him of racketeering or conspiracy. Those are the big charges. They convicted him of the smallest charge possible, the littlest offense, possession of a firearm. And that's because prosecutors gave the jury no choice. They gave them what's called a charge sheet with only that 1 count. They could have charged him with 34 different crimes, but they chose not to. Instead, they gave the jury a menu with 1 item on it. Now, you might ask, why didn't the jury acquit him on that count? 2, because they had no choice. Jury nullification happens when a jury acquits a defendant on a lesser charge, but it doesn't happen very often. After the acquittal, the press asked the judge, why did he give the jury that 1 charge sheet? And he said that prosecutors told him that they only needed 1 count to send the message. Message to whom? Well, that's another secret. Even though the judge acquitted 3 of the defendants, he said that he wanted to send a message to the Mafia. Did he do it? Well, the press didn't think so. They wrote stories saying the Mafia got off scot-free. I disagreed. I thought that prosecutors sent the message to the Mafia that they really don't want to prosecute anymore. Remember, this was the trial of the century. It was in a federal courthouse in Brooklyn. Federal prosecutors from the government's elite organized crime unit prosecuted the case. They spent 4 years building the case. They had wiretaps, they had informants, they had it all. After all that work, they acquitted 3 of the 5 defendants and convicted 1 of the 5 on a minor weapons charge. Here's what one mob expert told me. If the government can't win cases like this, they're not going to try. We haven't seen a major mafia trial since... What does it all mean? Well, here's what I think it means. Money is not everything, but it buys you everything. If you have enough money, you can get good lawyers and good judges and sometimes good juries. That's how the Mafia got off scot-free. I'm from New York. Thank you for watching.